During this time of global crisis, we proved that not all heroes wear capes. Most of them wear scrubs, face masks, and protective gear. But these pint-sized superheroes you're about to meet weren't even old enough to drive when they came to other people's rescue.
Have a nice nap.
Here are 10 heroic kids who saved people's lives, Part 2. What's up, Magnetics? This is Discovery Amuse serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. Our top pick features a family of brave heroes that could easily rival the Incredibles. So stay tuned for that.
You're all right.
Oh, you're all right.
We're so worried about
I'll never see you again.
Number 10. Tiny Trucker. In June of 2011, 10-year-old Tom Phillips was spending the day with his father, Andrew, on their family farm in South Wales, when all of a sudden a 2,000-pound bull charged at his father. The beast threw his father into the air and started mauling his unconscious body. Tom watched in horror, but quickly came up with an idea to save his dad. He hopped inside the family tractor despite his pops strictly telling him not to drive. Regardless, Tom decided to break the rules and drove the monster machine towards the bull to scare it away. And lo and behold, it actually worked. Soon after, a rescue helicopter arrived and rushed Andrew to the hospital. Tom's father suffered 10 broken ribs and severe internal injuries, but luckily, he survived the bull attack. I guess kids can disobey their parents during life and death situations?
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
Keep watching because you wouldn't want to miss the moving story of 5 kids who banded together to save their mother. Number 9. Little Lifesaver. Parents are usually the ones doing the protecting, but in this case, the tables were turned and the kid ended up being his dad's ultimate savior.
I told your dad needs help.
In 2011, while his dad from Salem, Oregon, named Aaron Hayes, was doing a woodwork project, he accidentally impaled his arm with a wood chisel, which severed a major artery. Lucky for him, his son AJ was sitting nearby, so he asked his son to dial 911.
Hello, 911.
Dad needs help.
Sir, do you need an ambulance?
Run away.
Okay, they're on their... Okay.
The paramedics arrived and brought Aaron to the hospital just in time before he bled to death. Thankfully, AJ already learned numbers from his parents, so he knew exactly what buttons to push. So kids, remember, math saves lives.
Okay, who wants to try 3 plus 3?
3 plus 3? Really?
Number 8. Dynamic Duo. Our instincts would tell us to run away from fire as fast as possible, but a burning house in Orange County didn't scare these little daredevils from going in and rescuing people. In June of 2015, while 11-year-old Jeremiah Grimes and 10-year-old Isaiah Francis were playing video games, they saw smoke coming from inside a neighboring mobile home. They quickly ran over to the house and learned there were little children inside. They managed to save a 1-year-old and an 8-month-old baby by tucking them in their arms.
We gave him water and then we called 911.
The homeowner was apparently trying to put out the fire with water when the boys ran inside. When the firefighters came, they rescued 2 more children in the house. Thankfully, all the kids were in stable condition.
Mostly just dark. All you could really see was black and orange flames everywhere. And I was kind of scared of doing that. So I was scared whenever I went in there, but I got through my fear and I did it.
2 months later, the Orange County mayor honored the 2 tiny heroes with the Mayor's Hero Award. Maybe in a few years, they could be the next Captain America.
Hi, I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have: patience.
Number 7. Mini Lifeguard. Swimming is one of the most important life skills parents should teach their kids, because not only can it help them survive, it can also help them save other people's lives.
Whoa,
Just take it from 5-year-old Allison Anderwald, who learned to swim at just 2.5 years old. Little did she know it would spell the difference between life and death for her mom, Tracy. In this dramatic CCTV footage from March of 2016, watch as little Allison jumps into an adult-sized swimming pool to save her mom. Apparently, her mother Tracy suffered a seizure and nearly drowned in the pool. With all her might, Allison then pushed her mom to the shallow end before calling for help.
I woke up in the hospital bed and I did not know where I was.
I guess it's never too early to learn swimming, or in my case, never too late. Honey, grab my Speedos.
Whoa, what are you wearing?
Freedom.
Number 6, baby driver. Speaking of important life skills, when it comes to teaching kids how to drive, it's also better to start them young.
I'm sober now. That's good for today.
On July 17th, 2016, Detroit mom Camille Taylor thanked her lucky stars that her 12-year-old son Javon tagged along with her as she was about to pick up her daughter from work. That's because while in the middle of the road, the diabetic Camille suffered a hypoglycemic attack that made her faint as she was driving. Her quick-thinking son Javon immediately climbed into the driver's seat to take the wheel.
I remember in my mind, but not feeling him on top of me some kind of way, but it's like I had these flashbacks. So it's like I remember and maybe trying to like, what is he doing? But I was in and out of it.
Javon then turned the car around, put on the brake, and parked on the side of the road. That's when another motorist stopped to help them and called 911. Because of his heroic act, Javon was honored by the Bloomfield Hills Police with a Civilian Bravery Award. Not too shabby for a baby driver.
Once you're in a dangerous situation, it's like everything that happened so fast, it doesn't really matter as long as you be safe.
Number 5, Boy of Steel. You know what the mark of a real hero is? It's that they think they're not.
I do think I'm a hero, kind of, but I also don't in a way.
You just did what you had to do, huh?
For then 9-year-old Victor Flores, it's not really a matter of humility, but of just having a natural instinct to save others in times of trouble. You see, back in 2009, while Victor was hanging out at his great-grandpa's backyard with his 7-year-old friend Aiden, Aiden got curious about the icy pond. He walked on top of it and invited Victor to come over too. To prove that the ice was safe, Aiden jumped on it and the ice suddenly broke and Aiden fell in.
It's in the water, and then he called Victor, said, Victor, I can't swim, so Victor just jumped in there.
I was really scared, and I thought we were both going to freeze to death.
Victor swam away and grabbed a pole to pull Aiden out of the pond. Both boys showed signs of hypothermia and were treated at a hospital. But if it wasn't for Victor's quick wits, both kids could have suffered much worse. Number 4, Lil Quicksilver. This security footage has already garnered millions of views online, and it's easy to see why. Watch closely as the unattended baby topples over the edge of the table, and out of nowhere, a kid catches him in the nick of time. Is he a nephew of Quicksilver or something?
I feel the need. Bust me! Ow!
On September 29, 2016, Florida resident Tyla Levi had just finished changing her 11-month-old's diapers when she looked away for a fraction of a second because her other son was asking for help with his homework.
So as I turned around to face him for just a second, was exactly when the baby started to roll over.
Luckily, 9-year-old Joseph was there in a flash, literally.
I just ran and I caught him, but I can't even carry him. So I don't know how that happened, and I can't even run that fast either.
Despite Tyla feeling embarrassed about the whole situation, she still opted to post the video online as a cautionary tale for moms to not let their babies out of their sight. Although, to be fair, multitasking moms are superheroes in their own right, too.
I got it.
Number 3, Baby Braveheart. If you were a little boy witnessing your family getting attacked inside your own house, what would you do? I would probably just pass out right then and there.
escorting me. Are you okay?
But this boy from Norwalk, California, named Carlos, is no ordinary 7-year-old. He's got nerves of steel. One day in March of 2010, 3 armed men entered Carlos's home and threatened his parents.
And they both have guns. Well, but there was 3 of them. One was outside waiting.
But instead of going straight into panic mode, little Carlos grabbed his younger sister and a phone, and the 2 of them hid in the bathroom where Carlos quickly made this desperate 911 call.
Can you tell me what happened? They come, they ring the door, and they have guns. They shoot my mom and dad.
The robbers heard the call from the bathroom, so they broke the door where they found Carlos and his little sister.
Okay, they bring the guys, they have
As soon as they learned that he was talking to 911, the suspects fled the scene without taking anything or hurting anyone. Thankfully, Carlos's mom had been teaching him how to call 911 in case of an emergency. Number 2, Girl on Fire. This next story shows the value of letting your kids go on educational field trips, something that most parents and students probably take for granted.
Welcome to the Museum of Tolerance. Here we try to educate you on the dynamics of racism and prejudice in America.
In February of 2016, 5-year-old Chloe Woods from Kenner, Louisiana woke up to the sound of the smoke detector going off at 7 a.m. Her mother was out at the time, so she was alone with her blind grandmother. Chloe investigated and saw that their stove was on fire. She immediately thought about putting it out with water, but she remembered from a recent school trip to the fire department how to appropriately respond to a fire emergency.
And what'd you do when you heard it?
Got out the house with my mom and my dog.
Chloe rushed to her blind grandmother's bedroom, woke her up, put her hand on her shoulder, and carefully led the way out, after which she asked the neighbors for help.
And she was running and telling the neighbor, call 911. I said, what's going on? She said, a house on fire.
When it comes to health and safety, little Chloe is definitely on fire. Before we go to our number 1 pick, do us a solid and make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Don't forget to choose all so you won't miss out on any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And of course, be sure to turn on notifications in your app's settings. Number 1, The Incredible Moors. This is the unbelievable story of courage of 5 kids who joined forces for a common goal: saved their mom from being killed by their own father. In April 2014, Rachel Moore was attacked by a gunman in her home while her kids were there with her. What's worse is that the rifle-wielding intruder was her abusive ex-husband and the children's estranged father.
And I knew it was going to be bad, but I did not expect him to have a gun.
As soon as Rachel sensed what was about to happen, she gathered her kids, 14-year-old Jaden, 12-year-old Cameron, 10-year-old Kaylee, 4-year-old Zane, and 2-year-old Samantha, and hid them in the bedroom. The man followed them into the bedroom, loaded his rifle, and shot at Rachel in front of the kids. Rachel, who took the shot in her arm, immediately passed out. At this point, the kids assembled a la Avengers and decided to take matters into their own hands.
When he had the gun pointed at my mom, I ran forward and elbowed him and disarmed him.
Apparently, the 3 eldest kids had trained in martial arts, which for Jaden came in handy during that situation.
I just hopped on his back and started choking him, and I beat him a couple times, I think.
Meanwhile, Kaylee carried her mother outside of the house and bandaged her mother's arm while they waited for help to arrive.
I rang the cops and pardon? The police. The police, and I said my mom's been shot.
Rachel lost a lot of blood and had to undergo long operations so she could retain her arm. But thanks to her personal team of little superheroes, they all get to continue living their lives together. So, which of these kick-ass kids wowed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Take home any of our exclusive gear by browsing our merch shelf or clicking the link in the video description, and while you're at it, take our quiz to find out how you can earn extra cash online doing what you do best. Awesome, right? On the other side of justice are these kids who need some serious scolding. Don't miss our ranking of the 10 kids who got caught stealing. Till then, stay courageous, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.